So this video is going to show you how to configure and customize your AMSAT CubeSatSim Lite, which is this little board here, plugged into a Raspberry Pi 0W. So in a previous video, I showed how you can connect an HDMI monitor using an adapter that goes from HDMI to mini HDMI, and then plugging that into the Pi 0. And then with a USB keyboard and an adapter cable that goes from USB to micro USB. These are also sometimes called OTG or on-the-go cables. And plug that in, and then you can connect and type in commands and do things. I already showed you how to do that on an earlier video. So now, instead, I'm going to show how to connect it to your computer using Ethernet over USB. So here is my USB power cable here connected to the power plug. But I'm going to unplug power plug, and now I'm going to plug it into my laptop. So I'm going to do that here. So it's no longer plugged in there. It's plugged into my Windows laptop. And now, instead of plugging it into this port here, which is the power input, I'm going to plug it into the USB port, right? This is where we would plug in our USB keyboard, for example. And so this will, the CubeSatSim Lite will be powered through the cable by my laptop, which is fine. But in addition, if you have the Bonjour print services software installed on your computer, or if you have Linux or Mac, it's already there. You can use this to actually remotely connect in to the Pi 0 and configure the CubeSatSim software. Okay, so I'm going to plug this in, but yeah, go ahead and do that. I'm just going to turn up the sound here, because once you plug it in, after a few seconds, you'll hear my computer make a sound indicating that it's recognized the Raspberry Pi. So let's plug it in here. And we should see, yep, the Raspberry Pi is booting up there. You hear that sound? That's Windows recognizing the Raspberry Pi. Now, if I switch to sharing my screen here, for example, now, if I go into my Windows Device Manager and go under Network Adapters, looks like it is not there yet. It takes a few, oh no, there it is. USB Ethernet RNDIS gadget. So that is actually the CubeSatSim Lite Raspberry Pi. So now I can connect using an application called SSH, which stands for Secure Shell. And get rid of this here. So basically, I just need to bring up a command prompt in Windows, and you can do the same thing in Linux and Mac. And I'm going to type SSH space pi at CubeSatSim.lan. So SSH is the application, Pi is the username, CubeSatSim is the host name. Right? Normally, Raspberry Pis default to the host name called Raspberry Pi, but we've changed it to say CubeSatSim. And then you add this .lan means to scan your local area network to see if you can find it. So let's give it a try and see what happens. Okay, now you see it found it, and now it's asking me for the password. And if you haven't changed it, the default is Raspberry, all lowercase. And there we are, I'm logged in. So I have my command prompt here. So now I can configure my CubeSatSim, and you notice the the little message here as I logged in. It says this Raspberry Pi has the CubeSatSim 1.0 software installed and runs automatically. For more information, see cubesatsim.org. And it says to update to the latest version, type in CubeSatSim/update. To see configuration settings and options, enter CubeSatSim/config. So that's what I'm going to type here. Oops, I can type here. CubeSatSim config, return. And you see it's set to FSK mode, frequency shift keying. It says, it's interesting. It says simulated telemetry is off, even though it's actually on. And these are all the different things that we can change here. So if we type in this command and add a -A, that will change to mode 1, APRS mode. If we put in a -M, that will change to CW mode. If we put in a -F, that will be FSK, -B, BPSK, -S, SSTV. So let's give that a try. We can look at it here. I'm actually going to run Cubic SDR, which is a kind of nice SDR application that runs on the Raspberry Pi. I'm going to select the RTL SDR and say start. And let's see here. Looks like we are transmitting something here. Click on it. Let's see, let me reduce bandwidth here. There we go. Now we got a better signal here. So now if you look here, you can see the frequency shift keying here. You can see the two frequencies, those two little peaks, right? That's a 1 and a 0 going back and forth. And if we listen to it here, there's that rumbling sound. So let's go back to our configuration tool here. So let's change the mode, and let's change it to SSTV. So I'll type in -S here. Now I could have done this by pressing and holding the button, but I'm showing you how to do it using the command configuration tool here. So I hit enter, and it says it's switching. And now after 30 seconds, we should see the new mode, hear it, and we should see it in the Cubic SDR waterfall there. Okay, there's the CWID. And then we should hear the SSTV tones. And we'll see they look quite different. You see all the different tones there. Okay, so let's change the call sign here. So I'm going to do CubeSatSim/config-C, and note that this is case sensitive. So you do need to capitalize the C and the S and the S. So if I type that, it says the current call sign is AMSAT. Enter the call sign in all caps. So I'm going to put in my call sign, KU2Y. And now it says it's going to restart. And now when we hear the CWID, instead of it being AMSAT, we should hear my call sign. Hopefully. Okay, so let's do one more thing here in the configuration. Let's set the latitude and longitude. So right now there's no value stored in the config file. It's just 0. But now I can put in, I can type in the latitude and longitude, so I could look it up. So for instance, positive is north, so I could put in, I don't know, 40.1 degrees north. And then longitude, positive is east, so here in the US we're going to be west, so I'll put in minus 75.1 degree. So now that's stored. So from now on, and actually we should just go ahead and switch it to APRS mode. And I will also switch back here to the WebSDR. And then we'll take a look on the map when it transmits the location to see if it plots it in the right place. Okay, I need to switch to the CubeSatSim band here. Click on it. Okay, so now we are all set. And there's some additional things you can configure as well, but those are the major things that you can configure. Okay, so we got a packet, and notice APRS now has my call sign, KU2Y. And if we click on the coordinates here, let's say, and that's not precisely my location, but it's pretty close. Let's see where that shows. Yeah, okay, so it just shows just sort of northeast Philadelphia as those coordinates. And so if you put in your coordinates, then from now on APRS will show your preferred location. So that's basically it. Oh, I'll just show you one other thing here. You can put your CubeSatSim on your Wi-Fi by configuring the Wi-Fi. So if you say sudo space rasp, spell here, rasp config, and then go under system options and then wireless LAN. So now if you just type in your Wi-Fi SSID, which is the Wi-Fi name, and the password, then from now on the CubeSatSim will connect to your Wi-Fi, and then you can do SSH without having to plug in here. All right, so I'm going to cancel out of there. Say finish. Now, one final thing. I showed you how you can shut it down by pressing and holding this button until you get the 3 slow flashes. There's also a command line to do that, and it is sudo space shut down now. And if I do that, then you hear it stopped transmitting. We actually lost our connection here because it's shutting down. You see the green LED blinks, and then it goes out. So it is powered off now, and we can safely disconnect the power.